Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Tuesday the 30th of November. Well, it's an interesting night and it's all based upon this man. Powell swings dovish, blames Omicron uncertainty. The emergence of the Omicron variant poses downside risk to employment and economic activity. Again, repeated here on CNN. Powell to tell Senate Omicron variant poses downside risk to economy, complicates inflation picture. And the reason he's doing this, of course, is so that he can get out of jail with his rate increases and also stop tapering, because they're going to have to buy back toxic bonds again once more. European stocks are lower. They were not set to fall. They are lower overnight amid Omicron vaccine fears. I don't know about the vaccine. That means it doesn't work then for this variant. And Dow futures also down 500 points plus as I'm recording. And just going back to the inflation story, well, interestingly enough, in a low-key move, Singapore Central Bank adds 26 tonnes to its gold reserve. Quietly and discreetly, Singapore Central Bank buys 26 tonnes of gold, boosting its gold reserves by 20%. Now, central banks wouldn't be doing this unless there was a reason to do this, which they've been doing since 2011. If you look at the three sets of videos or three parts video series that I did about the coming financial crisis, we saw in there how central banks from 2011 have been buying tons of gold and silver, but also manipulating the price to the downside. News for today. Well, the main news is obviously the markets have tanked overnight, but we'll look at that in just a moment. This is going to be a problem for the metals market at 3 p.m. The London fix is already putting downside pressure on, and also the overnight market is seeing pressure in the metals. But this man, single-handedly, along with his, I say single-handedly, I think in cahoots with his mate at JP Morgan, Mr. Jamie Dimon, will make sure that silver gets hammered today. So be warned, and also through to Friday as well. Purely and simply because we've got the non-farm payrolls, and they've been using this one to hammer the price of silver as well. So watch out on Friday, because if this figure comes out lower, then the price of silver will get absolutely hammered. So watch out for that. And also overnight you can see what's happening already. Gold stable, silver being absolutely hammered to the downside, just as they did in March 2020. When they did exactly the same. So we're going back above 80 to 1 ratio on the gold-silver ratio by the looks of things. We'll look at that in just a moment. Let's start off with what's happening overnight with the Dow. You can see here that the Dow has moved sharply down overnight. Not as much as the Dax, but let's just have a quick look here and see how much we've moved. Get a ballpark figure. So we're down, it's bigger than you think, isn't it? 786 points to the downside overnight for the Dow. So we have a problem, Houston. We're continuing to move to the downside. We've got the automatic support and resistance lines on the chart now. And if we go from here, we can easily identify the areas that we should be highlighting, and you'll see the market stopped at 78%, and also the 200 MA, which is within a whisker of the 89% as well for the Dow. So it's got to hold above here. If not, we target this area and then this area as well as prices come under pressure. In the 30-minute chart of the Dow, you can see the fall off there, very, very sharp. We've rallied back so far. How far have we come back? Let's have a look. We've got the red line now, 100, 200, 250 points back on the overnight. So it's very volatile at the moment and heading south. Again, they've tried to recover the market. It was certainly oversold in the stochastics as well. You can see just as much as we were overbought on the upside there, with supply coming into the market as well. So in the DAX, let's have a look at this one. This is even worse when you look at the fall off. If I can find it, there we go. There's the DAX. This is trading down to 89% retracement as well. This is the major support here for this market. So let's just draw in from here to here, which we've already done, and you can see we've got the 89. Already done this. So 89 is where the market's come down to. The daily chart is very much oversold. maybe it's just a shakeout today just to allow them to bring the market back. I would suspect that's more likely to be the case, to be honest with you. And in the 30-minute chart of the Dax as well, now you can see very similar picture to what we've got in the Dow. Also a big move to the downside for the Dax. Let's just have a quick look. We kicked off in this area overnight, so from there down to around about there, that will just give us a good idea. So 500 points down on the Dax overnight as well. So a lot of volatility around at the moment, and just sideways at the moment at the S3, which will be an interesting area as well. It's got a hold at the S3. Certainly filled the gap from yesterday when we were talking about this in yesterday's market alert. The gap is generally filled. Well, it certainly has been. Generally not like this, but it has been filled overnight. In the 2-minute chart, you can see a clearer picture of what's happened as the markets come down. There's your S3. The market's found support here. No major buying of any sorts, but at the moment we're just starting to round over as we've come back to the resistance here at this level, which is 15,050 is where the Dax is at the moment. Meanwhile, in the metals markets, like I say, expect silver to get absolutely hammered down to these levels. I have an order in just below here, but I'm going to cancel it and move it down to $20 or just below $20. Because as they prey on this uncertainty, it's going to allow the silver market to get absolutely thrashed, as they did in March 2020. They've certainly been doing this for the last few days, haven't they? You can see this, and what the irony is and the frustration. If you have a look at the dollar is actually moving lower as well, and they're still managing to pound silver to the downside, which again you can see in the 30-minute chart there. Tried to come back. All we need to do is to take out yesterday's low, and then we just continue through all of these areas of support here. Just draw in some fibs on the downside from here up to here, and you'll see we've got 89 in between the 21.50 area there. So see if it holds over the next few days, and like I say, you've got to watch out for Friday. They're going to use this. There's massive shorts by Jamie Dimon, and they're trying to get out of those shorts at some point. So the best thing to do is to move the price lower, make billions out of it, and then eventually they will switch to the long side, and then it will be vertical. But until they've done their job for, or they're bidding for the Fed, along with Virtue Financial, then they're going to see the silver price under pressure for some time going forward, until they allow the inflation to actually say, well, it's not transitory, it's real, and then we'll see a massive shift. But I can tell you this now, if you think about this, the only thing that will have any potential to actually make money is going to be silver. And that is because, as I keep saying, 1979, 2011, it was $50 an ounce or just shy of it, and now we're heading back down towards $20 for my money. They're going to make the most of this opportunity as we see in prices under pressure. So that will make it 60% cheaper than it was in 2011, 1979. The only thing, given the backdrop of massive inflation coming, even a report out yesterday as well, there's now a shortage of coffee. That hasn't made the mainstream news. That was on Zero Hedge, that there is a shortage of coffee beans, etc. So, it's all engineered, all designed to move the inflation, because that's the only way. In April, Powell said that the debt was unsustainable, and with the shenanigans with the Fed last year, with the reserves, you only have to look at John Titus's video, Best Evidence. You want a clear picture of what's going on. As a former lawyer, he's taking it all apart and shows exactly what's going on. And like I say, all of this is engineered. But it will be the only game in town where you'll be able to buy something that is 60% cheaper than it was, like I say, 79, 2011, when everything else is, prices are going through the roof. So it will make no sense at the moment, unless you look at it from the point and perspective that it's being hugely manipulated for that very reason. Okay, that will do it for this one. Let's see what happens later. You see that we're already sharply moving to the upside there with the silver gold ratio. We're going back to 80 and beyond. In fact, it's well worth you just having a look just to see where the peak of this was. It was 125, and at this point I invested in more physical silver because it was an absolute bargain. 125 ounces for 1 ounce of gold, and I'm quite happy if they want to revisit this area and move it back up. I mean, please do, because it'll be the last chance to actually acquire at these bargain basement prices. Okay, that's it for this one. If there is anything else to report today, I'll let you know, but expect a volatile one for sure. And as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.